Imagine waking up in the middle of the night. There's a high-pitched whine boring into your ears. You try to stand, but the walls seem to shift around you. You're not sick. You're under attack. But there's no weapon, no assailant, nothing. They call it Havana Syndrome, and it may be the first battle of a war that doesn't leave a mark. Welcome to Chasing Shadows. I'm Mark Miners. Today, we begin in Havana. Not with folklore, but with a documented mystery echoing around the globe. Before we begin, just know that everything in this episode comes from publicly available sources. No leaks, no classified intel, only verifiable facts. It began quietly in late 2016. American and Canadian diplomats stationed in Havana reported bizarre symptoms. It wasn't a flu. It wasn't poisoning. It started with a strange sound, a piercing hum like cicadas trapped in a tin can. Then, pressure in the skull, balance issues, and blurred vision. Medical scans later showed concussion-like injuries in people who'd never suffered a blow. The US pulled most of its staff from Cuba. Canada followed. But the incident spread. China, Russia, Austria, Serbia, and even Washington, D.C. Victims included CIA officers, Pentagon contractors, and White House staffers. The official term? Anomalous health incidents. But behind closed doors, the invisible war. This wasn't just illness. Victims were showing signs of physical brain trauma, and no one knew how or why. What kind of weapon injures the brain without leaving a trace? One theory, directed microwave radiation, a pulsed invisible beam. The 2020 National Academies of Sciences report concluded directed pulsed RF energy was the most plausible cause. Microwaves can pass through walls, be focused like a laser, and when pulsed at a specific frequency, affect human tissue. There's historical precedent. The Moscow signal, a decades-long bombardment of the US Embassy in the Soviet Union using microwave beams, resulted in higher cancer rates among staff. Some believe similar tech has evolved, now miniaturized, mobilized, and weaponized. Others point to acoustic weapons, low-frequency sound capable of inducing nausea, confusion, even unconsciousness. And some victims described a directional sensation. Stepping out of the beam reduced symptoms, like walking out of sunlight into shade. But if it's a weapon, who's wielding it? CIA agents, US diplomats, even family members of staff. They all described the same symptoms. It felt like my brain was being squeezed from the inside. My vision split. I couldn't stand upright. The sound came from nowhere, and it stopped as soon as I moved. Former CIA officer Mark Polymeropoulos described collapsing in a Moscow hotel room in 2017 with severe vertigo and brain fog. Years later, he still has migraines and memory lapses. Some victims were told to keep quiet. Others say their symptoms were dismissed as psychological. One whistleblower, CIA officer Brian Bulatow, reportedly downplayed the incidents, calling them overreactions. Behind the scenes, the intelligence community appeared divided. Some pushed for aggressive investigation. Others wanted the story buried. Why the silence? Because acknowledging the weapon means admitting vulnerability. It also means identifying a culprit, possibly a foreign government, and risking international confrontation. Still, the number of cases rose. Congress eventually passed the Havana Act, compensating affected personnel. But questions remain. What is it? Who's behind it? And why the secrecy? Not everyone believes Havana Syndrome is an attack. Some researchers argue it's a mass psychogenic illness, a stress disorder spreading through suggestion. Sociologist Dr. Robert Bartholomew compared it to historical events like the 1983 West Bank fainting epidemic. But brain scans showed real trauma. Damage to the corpus callosum, memory centers, and auditory pathways. So why psychogenic theory? Because belief is powerful and contagious. Pop culture has long flirted with mind control. The CIA's MK Ultra experiments, the X-Files, Black Mirror, the Men Who Stare at Goats. TikTok conspiracies about 5G towers and energy weapons. We're conditioned to doubt, even when the evidence is concrete. Still, the hysteria angle gives the government an out. No enemy, no tech, no accountability. But if mass hysteria doesn't cause brain damage, what does? In recent years, the US has ramped up investigations. The CIA formed a task force. The Pentagon launched Operation Silent Shield. The State Department conducted internal reviews. Despite early dismissals, President Biden signed the Havana Act into law in 2021. More cases surfaced. In Paris, Bogota, Hanoi, even near the White House. Still, a 2023 intelligence review claimed that it was unlikely a foreign adversary was behind the syndrome. Many victims called the report a betrayal. So, who gains from discrediting the phenomenon? Is this just Cold War paranoia, dressed in modern clothes? Or is someone, somewhere, testing a weapon of the future? Havana Syndrome sits at the crossroads of science, secrecy, and fear. It's a psychological contagion, or a technological warfare. Either way, it exposes something bigger. Our minds can be influenced, invaded, or ignored without warning. In the end, whether it's a rogue nation, an undisclosed device, or mass suggestion, the truth remains hidden. Thanks for listening to Chasing Shadows. Until next time, keep your eyes open. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And next time, we're going somewhere darker. Possession. A real case that shocked psychologists, priests, and skeptics alike. Join us as we investigate one of the most disturbing accounts of alleged demonic possession ever documented, and the chilling evidence left behind. And you might want to leave the lights on for this one. You can send us your tips, theories, or strange experiences. We might feature them in a future episode. Just email us at chasingshadowstp@gmail.com, and you can find us on Instagram.